We're about to be on YouTube. Okay, so sorry about that, folks. I thought that we were streaming to YouTube there as well, but now we're here. So again, you watched my video. You know how I felt. I said that although Spike Lee has done good work in the past, aka things like the Katrina documentary where he questioned whether or not the levees could have been blown, I was hopeful. I mean, he literally said in these interviews that he was hoping it might be the catalyst for another congressional investigation into 9/11. All right? Now, as much of a whitewash as these official investigations have been, it still was important. But the man folded like a cheap chair. That's what he did. He folded like a cheap chair, period. And now he's re-editing this. Now, he's saying don't judge it until you see it. But just the fact he did that reflects what it means to be a modern-day American. Let me talk about what that means. That means being soft, being malleable, not standing up for truth at all, being selfish, okay, and being weak, frankly. We're very weak, and the modern situation shows that. And guys, you know, although I'm not specifically talking to my audience, of course, I am weak at times. I know this. But as a society, we have acquiesced so much, to deny our weakness is absurd. You had a massive mainstream media onslaught in front of everybody decrying Spike Lee for daring to give Richard Gage and the architects and engineers for 9/11 Truth, okay, a venue. And when we're going to read this article, it's a little bit lengthy, but the way they propagate this stuff is, of course, it's always they want to take 9/11. Now they want to do it with anybody questioning COVID, even though we know that this is something that came out of a lab. And no, I do not believe it leaked. We know this. But again, even now with these supposed alternative narratives that are becoming more and more true, they'll still lean on that, right? Because they're malleable. They're weak. And the truth is the truth. I'll say it again. The truth is the truth. And for him to do this, and here's the thing. Here's a guy who's already made it. He's got wealth. He could, slowly fade into the sunset if he gets blackballed and ostracized for this, which obviously would have been the next step had it aired, right? He's done a lot. He's older than Jason Bermas, okay? But he still refuses to put it on the line when pressure is applied. And who knows what went on behind the scenes. Okay? Now, before we read the article and we really get into, I want to get into the parallels of JFK and then how it's different than JFK. Because over time, the movement for truth about JFK grew stronger. More productions and books were made, more attention, more people came to the rallying cry. And we peaked around the 5th or 6th anniversary, probably in between there. The 5th anniversary really got people into it. The 6th anniversary, it started to fade away. And it didn't fade away because people didn't believe it. It faded away because people are fucking weak, man. They're weak. They believed in hope and change. They believed in the hopium of Obama and that administration, just like a lot of you believed in the hopium of Donald Trump and continue to do so. I hate to put it that way, but think about it this way. Trump promised you all the JFK documents twice and failed. If you cannot expose the deep state from 50 plus years ago, okay, over half a century ago, how do you at all take on the deep state today? And just the fact that one of the most successful filmmakers of a generation is going to re-edit his film afterwards because of public pressure just shows how weak we are as a society. Because again, I'll say it. We're in the situation we are now because we didn't demand the truth about 9/11. We didn't hold anybody accountable. We did allow things like the Patriot Act and DHS to grow. We did allow black sites like Gitmo and Abu Ghraib. And then later on, again, a lot of you Hopiates started talking up Gitmo again like it was a good thing. Think about that. That's how weak you are. Okay, and I'm sorry. Anybody who thinks those were good things, anyone who espoused them in any way, you're weak, you're malleable. You've fallen for the propaganda. Okay? And what we didn't put anything, just because you voted for Barack Obama didn't mean you changed a damn thing. Not a damn thing. Instead, what you really did is you got the Bush administration 3.0, right? 3.0, because let's be honest, the first Bush administration really starts to ramp up that national security state. Even under the Reagan administration, the Cheneys, the Rumsfelds of the world, look into the National Program Office, look into what the continuity of government was doing then, expanding. All those things are real, okay? And then Clinton, you got Mr. Mena, Arkansas, Iran-Contra corral, right? You know what I'm talking about, Barry Seal, all you guys that get it. You had Clinton in there, was a little bit different. It was the new cartel coming up. They were still in the family. But when he got his son in there, his son wasn't running anything. George Bush wasn't running anything. I mean, by today's standards, George Bush was like an intellectual, like on the ball compared to what Joe Biden has become. But back then, if it was then, Joey B, that Barack Obama runs cover for another frontman after frontman after frontman. At least Trump did try to be his own guy. But the problem was that everybody behind him were a bunch of deep state, just evil people. Establishment liars that are for all of this. And again, those people that supported Trump were so weak, they couldn't even call him out on the JFK stuff. So we're going to read this article, and I'm sorry I feel this way, but why do you think, again, there are about to be mandates for a third shot all the way around? Don't think those mandates aren't coming. They're already working on those. Why do you think all of these shots are going to be approved again and again and again? Why do you think your CDC, your FDA have been taken? They're taken. It's here. So again, guys, let's get into it. Thumbs it up, subscribe, and share. We don't even have 100 watchers on YouTube. Again, 63,000 subscribers. Can't get 100 live. Can't get 100 live almost 8 minutes deep into a video. What can you do? What can you do, right? It's the algorithm. So we're fully demonetized also. All the links down below to support me. Make the free Rockfin account. 32,000 plus strong on the verge of 33. We're trying to get to 50,000. Let's be the first to 50,000. We're going to have to make up some ground. Jimmy Dore's on here. He's quite popular, that Jimmy Dore, they tell me. All the documentary films, by the way, they're also free. Odyssey has backed up the channel. But this is where it's at. Rockfin. And if you do get a premium subscription, it's $9.99 a month. But if you get the full year and you endorse me, you get everybody's premium material. Plus, it really helps the program. I saw someone talking nonsense in the comments. The Rockfin must be paying you. They don't pay me anything more than they pay everybody else. It's literally, I have no deal with them. What you put in is what you get out. They're not censoring me. They've given me a platform where I can live stream. They email my stuff to my followers. They give me access to email addresses that sign up through me. They've empowered me through technology in so many ways that YouTube still continues to try to enslave the narrative. So that's where you're going to find a lot of my uncensored content. And again, I give away 99+% of it. This isn't about making money to me either. Listen, guys, if you don't think that I could just go along with more of the mainstream narratives and worship some political figure and act like, I couldn't personally do that because I couldn't live with myself. But if you don't think I have the capacity to do that, come on. Give me a break. I could be reviewing video games. I'm an editor. I could be taking on other subject matter. This is what counts. This is what's important. Glenn Combs, thank you so much. New York is insane, brah. It is insane. And, I haven't watched any of this documentary series. I was going to start watching it. I don't know that I can now. I don't know that I can. So let's read this thing. Because he's saying don't judge until it's over. But again, you already edited this. Unless you came at the establishment harder in your edit, I don't want to hear about it. Okay? So now he's re-editing the HBO series on 9/11 to include conspiracy theories after admits. So now he is going to include it. I thought he was about to take it off. What's going on? As far as last night, it said he was going to re-edit it to take it out. So are they changing the headlines? Let's see. He says he's announced he is re-editing the final episode of his 9/11 documentary after admitting he believes conspiracy theories that the attacks were caused by a controlled demolition. I'm back in the editing room and looking at the 8th and final chapter of New York City's epicenter. I respectfully ask you to hold judgment until you see the final cut, read a statement by Lee posted on HBO exclusive platform. So here's the deal. Yesterday they were reporting that he had taken out these people. Okay? So let's see what he does here. Unless he's making it stronger, I still don't see why you would re-edit this thing at all, except for all this pressure. Let's see what he's got. Well, let's see what we got. Also included were reviews of experts who have closely studied the 9/11 attacks, including Cheyenne Sunder. Now, Sunder, again, they admit this, who led a lengthy investigation for the National Institute of Standards and Technology and who has debunked conspiracy theories about the terror attacks. Total of bullshit. Cheyenne Sunder admits, and they say this, admits that they never even tested for explosives at Building 7. Okay? And remember, that report was 7 years after. Just putting it out there. Okay? Let's see. Lee's decision to make final edits and to release previews featuring scientists seem to be efforts of damage control. The about face comes after rising criticism that the documentary didn't offer an even balance of arguments and even sided with the conspiracy theorists by giving them a platform just weeks ahead of the 20th anniversary of the atrocity. You see that? You can't give these people a platform. Oh, you're platforming them. Oh, I see. It's about and don't worry, they'll bring in the anti-Semitism and equate that somehow. Like it's madness. The latest episode, which will air on the 20th anniversary of the attack, so it won't be out until September 11th. Maybe it leaks. Includes several members of Architects of Engineers for 9/11 Truth, a group that has suggested the United States government was involved with the collapse of the World Trade Center on September 11, 2001. In an interview with the New York Times on Monday, Lee admitted he believed that the 7 World Trade Center skyscraper could not have collapsed because of the heat and rather seemed like an internal demolition. No kidding. Just like the sun seems hot, right? The sky seems blue. Water feels wet. Yes, of course it was a demolition. The original WTC-7 was a 42-story. No, it was 47 stories, I believe. Unless some, am I wrong about that, guys? In the chat, I believe it's 47-story. Building constructed in 1987, which was filmed tumbling to the ground after the Twin Towers collapsed. Some angles showed seemingly undamaged tower collapse into its own footprint, sparked. I mean, you look at the thumbnail, guys. Look. Let me show you this thing. This thing right here, that's Building 7. And you notice the building right next to it, that steel beam is like untouched. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen without a controlled demolition. It was 47. I thought so. That's what I thought. So, you know, no big deal you make that big mistake right there, right? Okay? But footage of the other side of the building shows a huge gash caused by falling debris. And I've shown that, and I've shown them going into the backside of World Trade Center Building 7. I've shown footage inside the building. I've shown you the Barry Jennings footage. Again, the Barry Jennings stuff is age-restricted now. World Trade Center 7 included a New York bureau for the CIA, yep, sparking further conspiracy theories of an inside job. Also the Secret Service, also the SEC. Okay? And don't think that the CIA wasn't in the Twin Towers as well. Come on. But units in the building were available for anyone to rent, and experts insist there was no government plot to destroy it. Listen to this. Experts insist there was no government plot to destroy it. Unnamed experts insisting, let's do it. Listen, I already texted Tripoli. I said, Michael Shermer's got a new book out. I will read Michael Shermer's book. I will debate Michael Shermer because now he's saying like it was all incompetence, of course, right? No one let it happen or made it happen on purpose. No lie hop or my hop. No. I'll read Shermer's book, and then I will destroy Shermer intellectually. The college dropout will make the ultimate skeptic look like the ultimate ignorant asshole. I mean, that's if you could even say that he's ignorant. I mean, they willfully don't get into some information, period. I don't think that he's ignorant. I think he knows exactly what he's doing. Just saying. Okay? Can I have that opinion? I don't know. Critics have argued that conspiracy theorists and scientists' arguments should not be presented to the public as if they were in the same realm of expertise. Oh, those are the critics and experts, here they come. Jeremy Stahl, editor of Slate, another person I would make my intellectual bitch in moments, wrote in an article for the magazine in terms of conveying facts. This is a bit like presenting COVID-19 vaccine skeptics in a debate along Anthony Fauci. Now let's stop there before we get into the Holocaust denial bit. Anthony Fauci would want nothing to do with Jason Burmis in a public forum that was filmed or live streamed, ever. Neither would you, Jeremy Stahl. Because let me tell you what would happen in rapid succession. I would humiliate him. I would make him aware that I know he's a war criminal. I would point out his many lies. I would also point out the many facts surrounding the virus. And his face would be beet red. He would be stuttering and he would not know what to do because he wouldn't have the talking points ready for those things. Okay, period. Let's start there, Stahl. You as well. If you saw that initial grind by Rand Paul, you could see it in his face, in his fidgets, in his stutters. Again, you don't want to be anywhere around a guy like me and a camera because I'll work your ass. Period. Or Holocaust deniers along the Simon Wiesenthal Center. So again, don't question 9/11. Don't question COVID. If you do, you hate Jewish people. You're a white supremacist bigot. You see how they associate that? You see how that works? Oh, here it is. Or a clique of climate change skeptics alongside the authors of the United Nations IPCC report. Because the United Nations are our new gods. Do you understand? And remember that paper tiger. Listen, there'd be plenty of people that would work over the IPCC. Oh, I mean, forget about it. My approach is put the information in the movie and let people decide for themselves. I respect the intelligence of the audience. This was the first article, by the way. The documentary also includes interviews with New York politicians like Senator Chuck Schumer, de Blasio, yikes, along with various healthcare workers, firefighters, and activists. Interesting. He said the New York Police Department declined to be interviewed in this documentary due to his views on police. So again, I said this in the beginning. I don't think Spike Lee's perfect. And I think one of the reasons that, he can even explore these ideas, other than the overwhelming evidence, is what? The fact that it was a Republican administration at the time, right? So many people are really caught up in that. But again, just to re-edit this thing, come on, man. Come on. And yesterday they were announcing that he was taking stuff out. When Times reporter Reggie Uju asked about the group's inclusion in the documentary series, Lee responded, I got questions. And I hope that maybe the legacy of the documentary is that Congress holds a congressional hearing about 9/11. It needs to be more than that. Like, look, there have been some treasonous motherfuckers in our government right now for a long time. And we didn't get them then. And a lot of them still do PR and work behind the scenes now. All right? And they built one hell of an infrastructure. Okay? That's what signature reduction is. That's the secret army. It's based on this lie. That's why I keep going back to it. Okay? Oh, let's see. Lee, if he believes the official explanations for the World Trade Center collapses on September 11th, to which Lee claimed the amount of heat that it takes to melt steel make steel melt. That temperature is not reached. And again, they just act like the melted steel is not there, right? They won't. Again, jet fuel doesn't melt steel or can't melt steel beams is just a meme. Every skeptic just comes, well, they didn't have to melt. They didn't have. I'm not saying it had to melt to collapse. I'm saying, factually, there is molten metal of over 2,000 degrees at the sites of 1, 2, 6, and surrounding hotspots. They're there. They're there. So it's not your meme. Explain them without saying explodes. Tell me what happened. Okay? Tell me how the plane did that. And they just say the molten metal doesn't exist. Just doesn't exist. Right? It's the no by Leslie. For the last 20 years I've been hearing it. At that point, Yugawa asked Lee if he believes 9/11 conspiracies, but does not support conspiracy theories about vaccines or the 2020 election, to which Lee quipped, "People are going to think what they think regardless. I'm not dancing around your question," he said. "People are going to think what they think." So again, conspiracy theories about vaccines. Everything. Anything they want to control the narrative of. Conspiracy theory, you hate Jewish people. How does that work? And then experts? Experts say. That's the experts. And, again, a guy like Fauci, he'd wipe the floor with Jason Burmis. Would he? Would you? Again, I want to put money on how long till, I could make Jeremy Stahl of Slate physically cry? Like, what kind of situation would it have to be? Like, here's the situation I'm predicting, because I don't really know what Jeremy Stahl looks like, but maybe I'm somewhere, right? Maybe I'm doing an interview somewhere in the city. I'm not sure where he's located. I would think maybe New York or D.C. We're fictionalizing here. And I get into an elevator. And lo and behold, I'm with Jeremy Stahl, and the elevator stops. The one time that in this weird claustrophobic situation, I've got full bars, and I'm just ready to go. What's the over-under before I make him tear up? Like a little bit. Or anger him to the point where he threatens physical violence. I mean, it depends on how big he is, right? How much machismo Jeremy Stahl is. I'm thinking 15 minutes. I'm probably about 15 minutes, right? I mean, if it takes a half an hour, I don't think I've done my job, and I think I'd be shamed. All right? Just saying. He noted, people have called me a racist for Do the Right Thing. People have said Mo Better Blues. I was anti-Semitic. She's got to have it. That was misogynist. People are just going to think what they think, Lee said. And you know what? I'm still here, going on 4 decades of filmmaking. And that's why it upsets me you went to the editing room, man. Exactly. 4 decades of filmmaking. People are going to say what they're going to say. I may agree with you on some things. I don't on others. But why? Why are you acting spineless? Why go back in there? I mean, come on. Again, unless you're going to make a stronger case. The controlled demolition theory has been around since the immediate aftermath of the 9/11 terror attacks, when Building 7 was hit by debris from the Twin Towers and was damaged by fire, which burned for 7 hours until it was completely destroyed at about 5:20 p.m. Some proponents of that theory suggest the building was demolished because it may have served as an operational center for the demolition of the Twin Towers. Again, that's total speculation, and actually dumb speculation. And let me explain why it's dumb speculation. No. We know who was in Building 7. We know that the Office of Emergency Management was there, which they did not discuss, that it had just been refitted, that before both towers went down, what? You had Barry Jennings, okay, and Michael Hess, the right hand of Rudy Giuliani, in the building alone. They were in the building alone. All right, they went up, they went up, and then they got rescued by firefighters. So they were there for both towers' collapses. No one's suggesting that was the operational center for the demolition of the Twin Towers. Now, I've never suggested, again, they just make shit up. While others suggest that the government insiders may have wanted to destroy files about corporate fraud. Again, asking the why in this, okay? Asking the why, and of course they go after Dylan, by the way. Asking the why in this is just ridiculous. Loose Change film producer Dylan Avery once said he thought the destruction of the building was suspicious because it housed a CIA office, an outpost for the Secret Service, the Securities and Exchange Commission, and the city's emergency command center. So there it is right there, the Office of Emergency Management. And it's not, that's all real, And you know what? Poor Dylan, because, Dylan's come on this show, but Dylan talks about a variety of things on this show when we talk. We're usually talking about a new project or something else he's done. We've been talking about Seven because he put that out there. And Dylan's done a lot over the last 15 years. And they always want to focus on Loose Change because it's such a phenomenon. And for me, I don't care because I think it's a big deal. I think 9/11 is a huge issue. But at the same time, unlike Dylan, I'm kind of out there talking to people all the time, whether it's on my show or other shows, about a broad range of subjects, right? And, if you look at my documentary films, Invisible Empire and Shade the Motion Picture, I think they're more relevant now than ever. So to me, I understand, Dylan's always wanted to be more of a mainline filmmaker and do fictional work anyway. He's always wanted to be that. And I think it's frustrating for him that, especially around the 20th anniversary, this is all anybody wants to talk about, okay? Oh, let's see. But United States Special Operations Command has said anyone could have rented space in the building. Let's see. The National Institute of Standards and Technology also investigated the claim and found no corroborating evidence for alternative hypotheses suggesting the World Trade Center towers were brought down by controlled demolition using explosives planted prior to September 11, 2001. Instead, photographs and videos from several angles clearly show that the collapse initiated at the fire and impact floors, and the collapse progressed from initiating floors downward until the dusk obscured the view. So again, they try to explain collapse initiation. They do not explain global collapse of either tower, period. They never have. Again, watch Loose Change Final Cut. Watch my last Spike Lee video. We show you that. It's pretty obvious on the video. The whole thing just came down, so, whatever. Lee has been a top Democrat donor. Yes, he has. And has campaigned for far-left politicians over the last few years. Yep. In 2012, Fox reports he hosted Obama in a fundraiser in his Manhattan home. Then in 2016, he campaigned for the Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders ahead of the primaries, even appearing in a radio ad for the senator. So, again, guys, you take a look at this, and we'll see what happens. I don't like it. I don't like, folding. I don't like going back to the drawing board after a bunch of people are like, you better not have. And that's what we have in our society. A bunch of softer than baby shit people that are so worried about what others think or what the public perception is going to be, who are very malleable, who do not believe in anything, who are not willing to put it on the line then and now. I mean, if you're masking your kid up in school, big issue. If you're not fighting that, if you're succumbing to these mandates, and listen, I get it. They just announced yesterday almost 800,000 military personnel could be court-martialed for not taking the boop. But you know what? You got to draw your line in the sand sometime. There's a military guy last night at my meeting, and he's drawn his line. I do want to end on a positive note here. Those that have been listening and following and knowing what's been going on with my family and my family members being on vents, my cousin has come off the vent today. Thank God. I'll give everybody updates, but this was a huge thing. Obviously, I'm very happy about this. I'm still irate with the situation and what occurred there, but thank you for all the positive thoughts and prayers, and I'm very, 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 very happy to announce that. Thumbs the video up, subscribe, share. The links are down below. We can't talk much about that because we're on YouTube right now, and in order to rock those comments, we got to rock them on Rockfin. So I love you, and I'll see you on the flip.